There's a moment. It doesn't look dramatic. No celebration, no announcement, no one notices, but everything changes. For some people, it happens at $20,000, not $1 million, not even $100,000, just 20K. And the strange part is, before that number, money feels hard. After that number, it starts feeling different, lighter, more controllable, more predictable, almost like something invisible clicked. There's a guy in Texas, mid-20s, makes around $65,000 a year. Nothing crazy. For years, his bank account looked the same. A few thousand saved. Then something happens. Car repair, trip, random expense, back to near zero. Again and again. It felt like progress, but nothing stuck. Until one year, he crossed $20,000 and something changed. Not overnight, but slowly. He stopped worrying about small expenses, stopped checking his balance every day, stopped feeling like one bad week could reset everything. Same job, same income, different feeling. Hi, I'm Rishi, and over the last few years, I've been paying attention to something most people don't really question: why some people start gaining control over money at a certain point, while others stay stuck in the same cycle for years. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized this isn't random. There's a threshold, not just financially, but psychologically. And once you cross it, money starts behaving differently. The first phase, why everything feels hard. Before $20,000, money is unstable. You're not building, you're reacting. A study from the Federal Reserve shows that nearly 37% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing or selling something. That's not because they're irresponsible, it's because they don't have buffer. Every dollar already has a job. Rent, food, bills. So when something unexpected happens, it doesn't come from savings. It comes from disruption. This creates a cycle. You save a little, then life takes it back. And because of that, saving starts to feel pointless. Psychologically, this is exhausting. Your brain stays in defense mode. There's something else happening here, something people don't calculate: the cost of stress. When money is tight, every decision feels heavier. Groceries feel expensive. Bills feel urgent. Small problems feel bigger than they are. A report from the American Psychological Association found that money is consistently the #1 source of stress for Americans. And stress doesn't just affect mood, it affects behavior. You're more likely to overspend for comfort, avoid checking finances, delay important decisions. So it's not just that you have less money, you also make worse decisions with the money you have. That's the hidden tax. Not interest, not fees, but stress. And once you cross that buffer threshold, that tax starts disappearing. Not growth mode. You're trying to survive the month, not build the future. The $20,000 shift, the buffer effect. Around 20K, something changes, not because it's a magical number, but because it creates space. Now, unexpected expenses don't reset everything. They get absorbed. Car repair? Fine. Medical bill? Manageable. Flight ticket? Not stressful. That space creates calm, and calm changes behavior. A report from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau shows that people with emergency savings make better financial decisions over time, not because they're smarter, but because they're not stressed. This is the hidden mechanism. It's not just money, it's mental bandwidth. Why most people never reach it. Here's the problem. Getting to 20K feels slow, very slow. Let's say you save $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year. It takes over 3 years to reach 20K. During that time, it doesn't feel like progress. It feels like sacrifice. This is where most people quit, not because they can't do it, but because it doesn't feel rewarding early on. And this connects to something deeper. The same idea behind the first 100K is the hardest. Before compounding, growth is linear. After that, it becomes exponential, but you need a base. And for many people, that base starts around 20K, the invisible advantage. Once you have that buffer, you stop making desperate decisions. You don't take bad deals just for cash. You don't panic sell investments. You don't rely on credit cards for emergencies. According to Bankrate, over 56% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency from savings. That means most people are making financial decisions under pressure, and pressure leads to mistakes. But once you cross that threshold, you start playing a different game. Not survival, but strategy. The real secret, it's not about the money itself. It's about what the money allows. Time to think, room to breathe, ability to choose. That's what changes everything. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Because after this point, money doesn't just protect you, it starts working for you. Once you cross that $20,000 mark, the game doesn't end, it changes. The second phase, from defense to offense. Before 20K, you're protecting yourself from problems. After 20K, you can start creating opportunities. Now imagine this, two people, both earn $70,000 a year, both save money. Person A reaches 20K and stops, keeps everything in a basic savings account, feels safe. Person B reaches 20K, then slowly starts investing anything above that. Index funds, simple portfolios, nothing fancy. After 10 years, their paths look completely different. The S&P 500 has historically returned around 7 to 10% annually over long periods. If person B invests just $500 a month at 8% return, that becomes around $90,000 plus in 10 years. Person A, still sitting near 20K, plus small interest, same income, same starting point, different outcome. This is the second shift. Money goes from sitting to multiplying. Quick pause. If you're still here, you're probably starting to see money a bit differently. And honestly, that's the whole goal of this channel. Not hype, not get rich quick, just understanding how things actually work. If this is helpful, consider subscribing, not as a button, but as a way to keep learning this stuff over time. All right, let's continue. The trap most people fall into. Here's where people mess up. They reach 10K, 15K, even 20K, and then they spend it. Not irresponsibly, but gradually. A vacation here, a better car, upgraded lifestyle, and suddenly they're back to where they started. This is backed by research from the Federal Reserve. Household savings rates tend to drop when income or balances rise because spending adjusts upward. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the biggest reasons people never cross that stability threshold permanently. The balance no one talks about. So what should you actually do? Save everything? Invest everything? Neither. This is where a smarter structure comes in. Something most people don't learn early on. The two-layer system. Layer 1, your buffer, around 20K, cash, liquid, untouched and less needed. Layer 2, your growth engine, investments, index funds, long-term assets. This creates balance, safety plus growth. A Vanguard study showed that investors who maintain both liquid savings and invested assets are significantly more likely to stay consistent during market volatility. Why? Because they don't panic. When markets drop, they don't need to sell because their life is already covered. That's power, the time advantage. Here's something most people underestimate. Time doesn't just affect money, it affects decisions. When you have no savings, you make short-term choices. When you have buffer, you think long-term. You can wait for better opportunities, say no to bad offers, take calculated risks, and over years, that difference compounds, not just financially, but in life. Why 20K feels like control? It's not the number, it's what the number represents. It's the moment when you stop fearing every expense, you stop reacting emotionally, you start thinking clearly. And clarity is underrated because most bad financial decisions aren't made from ignorance. They're made from stress. At some point, you stop thinking in dollars and start thinking in systems. Instead of asking, how much did I spend? You start asking, what does this decision do over 5 to 10 years? That's when compounding becomes real, not just in investments, but in behavior. Small habits, repeated consistently. That's what builds everything. Final thought. Wealth doesn't start at $1 million. It starts at control. And for many people, that first real moment of control happens quietly, around that first real buffer. No fireworks, no big announcement, just a subtle shift where money stops feeling like a problem and starts becoming a tool. And if you think about it, this isn't really about hitting a number. It's about reaching a point where money stops controlling your decisions. And that usually happens earlier than people expect.